Hello Magic players, this is Matt from Lansego and I've got a real juicy list for you this week. Sick of seeing Esper Control and the Wilderness Reclamation combo everywhere you go? Maybe you want to give them a piece of your mind and share with them your pure misery? Then get ready to sleeve up Esper Anti Anti-Fun. The goal of this deck is a little different than most. We do have win cons, but we're not focused on them. What we are focused on is making sure the control players and the combo players can't hope to win. Our game plan is to land an early threat, then hold up counters and slap away our opponent's every attempt at sticking a win con, or continue to develop our game plan while our opponent's counters rot in their hand. For our threats, we've got 4 copies of Dreadhorde Invasion, a nice enchantment to get out real early, only 2 mana, and it'll grow as the game goes on. They can spend their removal on it, doesn't matter, it'll keep coming back. 3 copies of Teferi Time Raveler. This is the true anti-control card here. Without being able to cast spells at instant speeds, our opponents can't counter anything we do. 1 Kaya, that's for ending the game, so we get her out there early, and we can protect her with our counters, with our Dreadhorde Invasion, and she'll eventually end the game. We've also got some creatures in here. 4 copies of Basilica Bellhaunt to gain us some life, take a card out of their hand, and keep us alive by providing a pretty solid blocker. We've got 3 copies of Angel of Grace as well. This is great, it's got flash, we're going to hit them in the air over and over, getting over their small blockers and end the game that way. Now for our disruption. So we're main decking 2 copies of Dovin's Veto, because remember, this deck is all about stopping non-creature spells. Teferis, counter spells, Wilderness Reclamation, anything like that. We've also got 3 copies of Absorb. That 3 life is going to give us a little bit of time against those more aggressive decks. We've got 4 copies of Thought Erasure, a great tool against combo. We'll pluck out whatever combo piece is in their hand, surveil one, smooth out our draws. It's a great deal here. We also have 1 copy of D-Spark. This is mainly aimed at Teferi and Wilderness Reclamation, but it also hit those bigger creatures like Rekindling Phoenix or Arclight Phoenix, maybe Crackling Drake if people are still playing that one. Now I know what you're thinking. Are we just gonna lose against aggro? My response is, well, there's a price we have to pay for this fearsome power, and we're running board wipes. So we've got 3 copies of Kaya's Wrath. It's a really solid board wipe for only 4 mana. We have 1 copy of Time Wipe because I really love that with the Bellhaunt and the Angel of Grace. They're both solid creatures and we can pick them right back up, especially the Bellhaunt. We'll get that discard and life gain trigger when it comes back down. We also have 3 copies of Tyrant Scorn. It's a great way to get rid of those early creatures. Now for Teferi. We have 3 copies of Big Teferi. I know it's a control card, but we want our opponent to feel the same oppression that we feel when they have one out and we can't do anything about it. We've got a pretty standard Esper land base here. 4 copies of Watery Grave, 4 copies of Godless Shrine, 4 copies of Hollowed Fountain, you know, all the shock lands, and then alongside those, the check lands as well. We also have a single swamp because we want to make sure we're hitting our land drops. Our curve here is very high. Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Angel of Grace, Time Wipe, all 5 mana cards, all very important cards for this deck. Going to the sideboard. So against control, we complete our playset of Dovin's Veto. We have Teferi number 4, 2 copies of Negate because Dovin's Veto just isn't enough if we're going to give them the pain, and some Commence the Endgame. Mortify and completing our playset of D-Spark is mostly for combo decks. It'll hit Tamiyo and Wilderness Reclamation. Also, Mortify is pretty good against mid-range decks as well. We're still seeing some of that Sultai mid-range. Also against aggro, we'll bring in more Tyrant Scorn, Kaya's Wrath number 4, and Augur of Bolus. He'll be a pretty good blocker early and he'll help us dig to find our board wipes. That's all for this list. If you liked what you saw, do me a big favor and hit that like button and subscribe. You can also follow us on Twitter at Lansego1, our Facebook page, our Facebook group, the Sideboard, and last but not least, our main site, lansego.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.